Well, welcome to the Fort St. John Association for Community Living Shining Brighter podcast. We are putting a spotlight on success stories and solutions to the problems of exclusion and apathy in the world of people living with developmental disabilities and complex needs. My name is Jared, and I'm going to be your host today, and I'm joined by a wonderful guest who also is acting as co-host with the podcast sometimes, and I'm going to introduce him in just a moment. I work with the Association for Community Living as the stewardship manager. My role is to help tell the stories of the individuals that we support and the staff who are the foundation of our work. And as well, I get to invite the community to join us as supporters and contributors to our work so that our mission is stronger than ever. And today on the Shining Brighter podcast, I am privileged to be joined by Kelly Clark. Kelly, so good to have you here today.
Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm doing.
You're doing.
I'm alive.
Yes, you are. Well, that's good. What makes you feel alive today?
Honestly, I'm not sure.
Maybe we can unpack that in this episode.
Yeah.
What helps you feel alive? Now, Kelly, you got some balloons hanging out on your chair there.
Yes.
Is that just so that people can see you're coming down the road, or is there like significance to those?
I just celebrated my 30th birthday.
Happy birthday.
On Wednesday, so.
Right on. Did you do anything special for your birthday?
I had my mom over and we had some pizza. And then tomorrow we're going to be going out to the lake.
Oh, fantastic.
So
that's good.
that'll be fun.
Yeah. 30 years.
Yes. Feels like way too long.
Yeah. That's a lot to unpack. 30 years of life. Hey.
Yeah.
But we show up every day and we just experience the day one day at a time. And we just want to learn a little bit about you today. You are someone connected with our organization in a number of different ways. How did you first get connected with the Association for Community Living?
I first became connected with the Association for Community Living when I was 19. It was getting to the point where it was almost time to move out of my mom's house because we were to the point where we were at each other's throats.
Like no other 19-year-old and their mom, right? Yeah. So did you kind of go looking to see what other options were, or did your mom connect? And
my mom did, actually.
And how was that for you as a 19-year-old, thinking about, big life change and moving out of home? What was that experience like? Can you recall? It
was definitely, it had some challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Coming into the association for the first time and having to deal with all the new rules and, regulations around things. It was definitely a learning curve.
Yeah.
Definitely an adjustment period for me.
And how did you go through that adjustment? What helped you through it? Was it something you felt like you had to navigate a lot on your own, or were you able to connect with the staff fairly quickly?
No, I was able to connect with staff. For context, when I first joined the association, I was actually in what's called HomeShare.
Yes.
Where you actually live with your support worker.
Right. It's somebody that's opened up their home and invited a supported individual to live with them.
Yeah.
So what was that experience like?
It was good. The first couple of home shares were a bit were rocky, especially the first one. The first guy had a very bad case of bipolar disorder.
Oh, interesting.
So, it was definitely something to adjust to. There was the last day he was with me, actually, he told me, I'm going to go see my psychiatrist and I'll be back. And a couple hours goes by and I'm like, okay, where the heck is this guy? Like, I'm sitting here alone. I'm starting to get hungry. Like, where the heck is this dude? So I wound up reading on his Facebook that he was off to the mental institution.
Why?
It was a really unpleasant situation
No kidding.
because I happened to be on Facebook and I'm reading that he's been put into the psych ward, and I'm like shocked because I had no idea he wasn't coming back.
Yeah.
And so I put a comment on his post, and it was just in all caps, and it was one word, and it was, what? Like, what the hell? And Cindy, the executive director at the time, and Pat Taylor were like, oh my God, like, he's all alone right now. He's probably starving. So they came over. They brought me food because I was hungry.
Sure.
And luckily, my next HomeShare, the woman that was coming in, was actually living across the street at the time. So Pat told her, like, we need somebody in here, like, now, because right now he's all alone. And so that was quite the shock.
Wow. And you stuck it out. You got a new HomeShare. That went better, I assume?
That went better. That one was good. She stayed with me for about a year.
Yeah.
And then I had another HomeShare after that. That one didn't go very well. And then the final HomeShare I had was after that one. And then I had another guy move in named Lauren Reeves, who I lived with right up until this year.
Okay, because you just moved this year, right?
Yeah, I just moved in on November 1st of 2025.
So you moved around a bit.
Yes.
Yeah. So you've been with the organization a while, and but tell us a little more about yourself. What are some of the things that Kelly what do you like to do? What makes you you?
I like listening to music or watching movies or going for a walk when it's nice out. Which, as you know, with Fort St. John, we don't get very nice weather for like most of the year.
Yeah.
We only get like 2 months of nice weather.
So when you can go to the lake, that's a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of music is your go-to?
I like all different kinds of genres, but I also like rap
Oh yeah,
and stuff. So,
nice.
yeah.
Oh, that's good. What's something most people don't know about you?
What's something most people don't know about me? I'm a sarcastic asshole.
And now it's out there. None of us had any idea Oh man, no, I know. As I've been getting to know you, I appreciate your sarcasm. I don't know if the asshole part, but that just comes with the package, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That just comes with the territory.
Yeah. 2-for-1 deal.
Yeah, pretty much.
What are some of the goals that you have for the future?
My goals for the future is I'd like to eventually be able to have a family of my own, have kids, a wife, and right now I'm trying to finish my high school education, actually.
Right.
I've got 2 more courses to go, 2 electives,
That's awesome.
which is nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be so glad to be done. I'll tell you that right now.
It's been a long journey.
It's been a long road.
Because I think you mentioned you picked this up going through the local college here. How many years ago?
We're going on 4 years.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're almost 5.
Yeah. So when you're done, that's it for school for now? Or
For now.
Down the road, could you see yourself doing something else?
For now, I think that'll be it.
Yeah.
Because 4 years is a long time to
Yeah.
be doing school. So
Yeah. That'll be nice to be done with that.
yeah.
And you talked about the relationship goals. You dating right now at all?
No, I'm having a bit of, honestly, a little bit of difficulty in that area, just because of how Fort St. John is. And, a lot of the girls I've met in this town are not, how shall we say?
He's trying to be tactful.
I'm trying to say this politely without sounding like a complete jerk. Some of the girls, at least the ones I've come across, tend to want to use you or take advantage of some sort.
Right.
And I'm getting too old for that crap.
Yeah. You're wise.
I'm almost, I just turned 30, so, I'm getting older and time is slowly slipping away.
So what you're saying is you need a bigger pond to go fishing in.
Yeah. I need a better pond to go fishing in. There's a lot of quantity, but there's less quality.
No offense to all the Fort St. John ladies out there.
Yeah.
Just not the right one for Kelly. You know what, Kelly? I kind of can relate because I grew up mostly in this area and into particularly my high school and young adult years. And I had that same thought that I just didn't feel like there were ladies that would be the right fit for the interests that I had. And, just the type of person I was looking for as a wife to start a family with and so on. And similar is where am I going to find this person? Because it's not a very big community. There is a lot of great people, absolutely. But if doesn't feel like it's the right person for you, it's not the right person. And so I wondered the same thing, how's this going to work? And I don't know if I've shared my story with you or not, but in just kind of brief, I had been away for a few years, came back, and I had this ongoing thought. I think I was getting into my 20s, and it'd be great to get a wife. Didn't find anybody. And then one day I was at a church function, and I noticed this young lady, and we made a connection afterwards, and she had a great accent. I picked up, this is not a lady from Fort St. John. She actually was in Fort St. John from Switzerland as a nanny for a family here, and had just planned to come for 6 months. And her and I connected, we hit it off, and that's who my wife is now. And we're getting close to celebrating 19 years of marriage. And so maybe we just need to import the right wife for you.
Right?
Yeah.
Kind of like a mail order bride situation.
Yeah. I wonder if that kind of thing still happens. So you never know, right? That maybe, the neat thing is Fort St. John's growing, right? And there's more people coming, look at our organization and the diversity of our staff team that have come from across Canada, from around the world. There's an attractiveness to our community in that it's smaller. There's a lot of incredible opportunities, and there's a handsome 30-year-old man that is looking for a wife, for anybody who's listening.
Yes.
Yeah, but you got to be quality.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are some things you're looking for in a wife?
Someone who's sweet, easy to get along with.
Can put up with your sarcasm?
Put up a or can match my sarcasm.
Oh, yeah, that a wicked combination.
Someone who likes to have fun, likes to laugh, likes to do things. Just have fun, enjoy life.
All right. And so for any eligible applicants, do you have a application form to date Kelly that we could direct people to? Online?
No, I don't.
Okay. We won't give your phone number over the podcast on the Great Wide Web, but
no.
You search, and we mention it sometimes. Kelly also has his own podcast, You're Not Alone, Life with Disabilities and Depression, right?
Yes.
So you can look up his podcast. I don't know, can people contact you?
Yes.
Potential wife candidates through your podcast?
Yes, people can contact me through the podcast's Facebook page.
Yep.
You can contact me directly through there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right on.
So
we'll see how many come flooding in.
Yes.
From that big podcast we have.
Yeah, because honestly, I'm tired of the online dating scene because I'm getting nowhere.
All right. Well, We'll see how long this podcast goes for, how many episodes, maybe episode 20, 50, 100. I got hopes for you.
Yeah.
We'll bring your girlfriend on, and we'll remember this time we talked about.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
What are some of the ways that the association supports you, Kelly?
Well, for one, they give me a place to live. I have terrific staff that help me out. I'll admit, I do sometimes struggle with some of the limitations of the association, especially when it comes to my dating life or.
Tell me a little more about that, because it is one of the things we want this podcast to be a platform that gives opportunity to educate, to inform, and to give information. And we're expecting, a lot of our staff and people connected to our organization to be some of our early listeners. And you have that perspective as someone who is supported by the organization, lives in one of our homes. Tell us a little bit what some of that experience is like, what some of the challenges are, because we want to learn from that, right? Mm-hmm. And that's helpful for us to know.
Well, one thing I've come to learn, I guess, is that, there's one thing that always gets under my skin a little, is they always say, oh, this is your home, but yet then they put certain restrictions on us, like X, Y, and Z, you can't have people spend the night. You You know, I can't even have my own mom stay over, which is very frustrating.
Right.
Especially if, like, say if we have a couple drinks or whatever. I don't really want her driving
Fair. Yeah.
home if we drank, you know, because then it's putting not just her at risk, but anybody else who's on the road. Or if my friend in Dawson is having issues at home or whatever, he could always, like, crash at my place.
Right.
And stay over.
Because if you had your own apartment, then, you know, you would just say, hey, here's the couch or, you know, guest room or whatever the setup was. Yeah. And you feel like right now that's just not so possible.
Yeah, it's not feasible.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and I always find it funny when they always preach to us that, oh yeah, this is your home, but you're not allowed to do this, or this. And it's like, well, everybody else can do that in their own homes. Why are we so different?
Yep.
You know,
that's a fair question.
You know, yes, we're disabled, and yes, we have staff, but we also have the same rights, the same desires, the same wants, you know, as everybody else.
What would you say are some of the challenges and barriers that you face and that you're, you know, working on overcoming?
I would say some of the challenges and barriers I face is, like, for instance, if my mom and I want to go out somewhere, right, we have to depend on staff to take us places. Because, well, to take me places, and then my mom's got to drive herself. Because she's not even allowed in the van.
So there's just more logistics to work through.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how do you navigate that? What are some of the things that you work on to overcome those barriers and challenges?
Well, I've been trying to look into, like, getting my own van, one that's not owned by the association.
Okay.
So that, you know, I have a say in who can be in it and who can't, you know, kind of thing.
Yep.
And if it were up to me, if I could just win the lottery, I would, if it were up to me, I'd build my own house, and I would make it so that I wasn't part of the association anymore.
Right.
Because dealing with their restrictions and their rules is hard on somebody who's just trying to live as normal of a life as possible. And I get that they're there to try and protect us, but at the same time, you gotta loosen your grip. You know, you gotta let people be free.
Now, can't remember if we mentioned it or not, but you have a role in our organization as a self-advocate on our board. You're one of the directors of the board. What does that look like? You have this perspective and you face some of these challenges. Do you get opportunity to share at the board level and, lend input and voice to some of the things that help with decision making and so on?
I try as much as I can. I find it a little bit hard sometimes because, there's so many things on the agenda during the board meetings that sometimes I think my role kind of gets put to the wayside. Or like my voice doesn't get heard as often as it should be.
Okay.
That's one thing I kind of struggle with, is trying to, get my voice heard and the voices of all the individuals that we support.
Yeah.
Because like I said, there's only so much time during the board meetings, and the agenda can be pretty packed.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So.
And we give credit, our board, they're volunteers, every single one of you, and we appreciate that. But I think that was another one of our desires in doing this podcast, is it gives another opportunity for voices to be heard, voices like yours and staff that we'll bring on, and hopefully we'll get a chance for some other supported individuals to join us as well, and it gives another avenue to convey the concerns or the challenges or the ideas and the solutions, right? Beyond just the context of a monthly board meeting where there's a lot of things going on. What would be some of the when you kind of think top of mind for you, some of the solutions that you feel would be worth bringing forward, either to the board level table or to Community Living BC, CLBC, who's one of our primary funders, or even to our operations team, the leadership team of the staff? What would be some solutions you think would be beneficial to toss around?
Well, I would think just listening to the individuals more on what they want, instead of trying to, dictate their lives for them.
Yep.
You should allow them to be able to voice for themselves and have them tell you what they want and what they don't want.
Do you ever get opportunity to connect with some of the other individuals and hear from them, or, help be a voice for them as well?
Honestly, I don't connect with a lot of the other individuals. Honestly, it's mostly just me and Alicia.
Right. Your other housemate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's helpful still. Now, I got to jump. You kind of made a comment before, and I'm going to connect to that. You said if I win the lottery, you would create your own home and, be able to kind of go off the supports of the association. Let's play with that a little bit. So what would that kind of look like, that dream, that idea? What would that look like?
Well, that would look like I'd hire like my own staff, and like it'd be like kind of like a duplex where one half would be their place, and then the other half would be my area.
Yep.
So that's kind of the dream,
And still in Fort St. John, or would you go somewhere else?
I think I would stay here just because my mom's here. I got family still here, and I don't think I would move too far.
So no private island in the Caribbean?
No. I just...
That sounds like a very reasonable dream.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
I know I've actually been buying lottery tickets off and on to try and win.
It hasn't worked out yet. Hey?
No, it hasn't worked out yet, but one can hope and dream.
So. Now, I think we've talked before. You have worked in the past, right? Right now you don't have a job, but that's something I think you're interested in, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of work would you be interested in doing?
Well, I was a doorman at the Lido for a while.
Okay.
And then I worked at Moose FM for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what would you be interested to do now?
Well, I like to write screenplays and stuff. So I'd like to, eventually get into like filmmaking
Yeah.
of some sort. And yeah.
Oh, that'd be neat. Do you have a particular genre of
Horror.
Okay.
Horror.
I don't want to read your screenplays. I'm not a horror guy, but I think that takes a lot of creativity and imagination to pull that off. Well, there you go. Yeah. That's good. I wish you the best in that. I won't be your editor, though. So for those who are listening, probably, again, staff, families, board members, what would be some advice that you would give them that could be helpful?
My advice the best advice I could give is just, you need to learn to see the individuals and not the disability. Because we are more than our disabilities. Disabilities are only a part of us. They're not the whole picture. So,
thank you for that advice. In the time that you've been connected with the association, do you have some good memories or stories that come to mind?
I have a few. I have a couple, but I can't think of them off the top of my head at the moment. But yeah, I have some stories. But yeah.
Well, we'll be on this podcast again.
Yes.
And then you can tell your stories.
Yes.
What's something that you said, even if you won the lottery, you would stay in Fort St. John. Now your mom's here. Well, what's something else you love about Fort St. John?
I love, just the people around Fort St. John. I love the fact that everything is like within walking distance, kind of. I love the fact that at least some of the stuff is wheelchair accessible. They still need to work on a lot of things, though.
Have you seen improvements over the last 30 years? Well, you haven't. Were you in a chair? How old were you when you first went in a chair?
Since birth.
You were from birth. Okay. Yeah. So have you seen improvement over the years?
I've seen some improvement. I mean, it could be better. Like, they need to work on putting more sidewalks in this town. And because if you see me riding around town, you'll notice that sometimes I'll drive on the road.
Yeah.
But that's because some of the sidewalks are dangerous and scary, especially when you're in a wheelchair.
Even just to walk on with the dips and lips and everything, I can just imagine, yeah.
Yeah. I know I actually had a cop stop me one day. He's like, hey, you shouldn't be driving on the road. And I said, well, when they fix the sidewalks, I'll use them. Until then,
it's a safer.
I feel safer on the roads than I do on the sidewalks.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I've never tipped myself over on the road. It's always been going or coming off a sidewalk.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like you say, getting around, at least it's not too far.
Yeah.
To get to the things you want to get to.
Exactly. Although I could do without all the road closures right
Yeah,
now.
because we're recording this in June, and this time of year is like road construction season in Fort St. John, and that's a challenge for everybody. I can only imagine how much of a challenge it is for you.
There's a saying in Fort St. John that there's only 2 seasons, winter and construction.
Yeah. No, my kids, they talk about that too. All right, so the leaves are coming out, and all the pylons and the road closure signs are coming out as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's nice out, but you can't go nowhere.
Yeah. Right now there's a main road near our house that's full under construction, and every morning it's kind of like just rolling the dice. Are we going to go right? Are we going to go left? How long are we going to wait? How much of a drop are we going to take when we go off the street?
Well, and it seems like when they do construction around here, it doesn't improve anything. They just do it just to tear up the road. Like, makes no sense.
Somebody's keeping busy. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to waste taxpayer dollars.
We should hire you for a consulting job, hey?
Right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
look at all these ideas we've come up with.
Right. You know, it just astounds me. It's like I see them doing construction around town, or at least some of them look like they're doing construction, and the other ones just look like they're on a freaking coffee break 24/7. It's like, are you going to get back to work? Or are you just going to stand around? Like, come on, man. People need to get from point A to point B, and we can't do so unless you fix the damn roads.
True statement. Yeah. So Kelly, we're working on this podcast. It's kind of a new idea for us. What are things that you would like this podcast to accomplish? And do you have ideas on who are people you would like to bring on the podcast?
I would like to see the podcast just basically allow the individuals, allow the employees to have a voice, to be able to speak their minds and what they would like to see improve, and what they think is going well and what's not
That's good.
going well.
That's good. I think that's very much what we're wanting to do. And we'll look forward to hopefully many more episodes. We hope to be dropping these about on a weekly basis. And if you are interested, people are listening, if they're interested in coming on and being a guest, we would be happy to host them. This is going to fit in around episode number 2, and we're looking forward to a few staff coming on in the next few weeks, and so those are things people can look forward to. But thanks again for the time today, Kelly. It's good to get to know you more, and I look forward to having your contribution as we go forward from here. But for now, thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Shining Brighter podcast presented by the Fort St. John Association for Community Living. Our mission is to support individuals with developmental disabilities and complex needs achieve full and meaningful lives in our community. And why do we do what we do? It's because empowering people to shine by designing their own lives and reflecting their unique light makes a brighter world for everyone. So show your support and help share the light by subscribing to this podcast and sharing it with your friends. And until next time, take care. We'll talk to you later.